Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description to find local verified solar experts, community projects and heat pump specialists in your area. And by Atmos Financial. Bank better with a financial technology company that's powered by a portfolio of clean energy investments. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolve News. Thanks for joining me. Before I get into today's show, I just want to remind those of you in the US that the comment period is now officially open for proposed rule changes from NHTSA designed to make vehicles safer for pedestrians in the US. Kate did a truly amazing job explaining it in a video earlier this week. So if you haven't watched it yet, please watch it after this show and then reach out to NHTSA with your comments. That video does include all of the links you'll need to be an active participant in this particular process. And a quick note with regard to today's show. We'll start with EV quarterly estimates, which I know aren't everyone's cup of tea. If you want to skip to the rest of the video, just use the chapter markers below or fast forward to this point on the video. Since we officially started Q4 this week, Q3 figures are now getting published, and be aware that some are global while some are for specific markets, so I'll do my best to note the differences. Tesla first. It published global figures for Q3 showing that it built 469,796 vehicles, delivering 462,890. This is broadly in line with Wall Street expectations. GM published its US figures this week, showing EV sales for the quarter totaled 32,095, up 60% year over year and up 46% on Q2. Nearly one-third of those sales came from the Chevrolet Equinox EV, followed closely by the Cadillac Lyriq. Ford had a good quarter too, selling 23,509 EVs in the US, up 12% year over year, but slightly down on the previous quarter. Despite this, it slipped to third place in year-to-date EV sales behind Tesla and GM. While Hyundai's US EV sales are slightly down year-to-date when compared to last year, the Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6 helped the brand set a new third-quarter EV sales record with just under 14,000 models sold, not including Kona EVs. Meanwhile, sibling brand Kia, while it hasn't published its quarterly figures officially yet, confirmed that although its EV6 sales weren't stellar in September, its EV9 enjoyed its third best sales month ever, with just over 2,000 examples sold in September. While I'm talking about September-only sales, Volvo was celebrating the fact that in September, its EX30 represented 1/4 of all of its global sales, with the EX30 selling 9,610 models around the world, also allowing it to become Europe's second best-selling EV for the month. NIO celebrated an exceptional quarter for the brand, with 61,855 EVs sold during Q3, which is up 11.6% year over year. It's quickly becoming a very established brand in China alongside BYD, thanks in part to its battery swap tech. And finishing off the quarterly and monthly reports, BYD celebrated a new record quarter, selling more than 1.1 million new energy vehicles. Of those, 443,426 were EVs. Well done. EnelX, the energy and charging specialist, which acquired the Juicebox and JuiceNet software from its original developer eMotorworks, has announced it's leaving the US and Canada, leaving owners of its charging stations completely in the lurch. As we've detailed previously on this channel, Juiceboxes and JuiceNet were incredibly reliable until its acquisition, and since then EnelX has rapidly broken that reputation through forced, unfunctional updates that removed the very functionality that these charging stations were once renowned for. This week, the company sent out an email to registered users saying it was pulling out of the market and would no longer offer after-sales support. It's even pulling its associated apps from the US smartphone app stores. Several companies have stepped up to offer support to displaced EnelX customers, primarily for fleet use. But fear not, because TE has now got a dedicated room in its Discord chat where folks can discuss ways to regain control of their juice boxes. Well, Volkswagen AG isn't having the best year in terms of EV sales, and we've heard rumours about Audi, Volkswagen and Porsche brands revising EV goals. One of Volkswagen AG's European brands, Škoda, has just unveiled a new model. Enter the Škoda Elroq. It's a compact SUV that's basically a twin to the Volkswagen ID.4. Available in two different guises, the Elroq 50 comes with a 52 kilowatt-hour usable battery pack and 125 kilowatt rear-wheel drive motor for 375 kilometers WLTP range, while the Elroq 85 comes with a larger 77 kilowatt-hour usable battery pack and 210 kilowatt rear motor for 581 kilometers of range. Prices start from around €33,000. EVs are statistically far less likely to catch fire than internal combustion engine vehicles, but when things do go wrong, these fires get a lot of attention. So you might be pleased to know about two different announcements this week that could help reduce EV fire risk further. First, LG Chem announced midweek that it's developed a new temperature-responsive material that can act as an electrical fuse in the event of thermal runaway. What's more, it claims the material can help prevent short circuits in the event of cell puncture. Also this week, Volkswagen-backed battery company 24M showcased its Impervio separator material, a new addition to batteries that can dramatically reduce the risk of battery fires caused by overcharging or overheating. Let us know in the comments if you'd like us to do a deep dive on either of these. While Tesla Superchargers have been open to pretty much any appropriately equipped EV in the majority of the world for years, in the US and Canada it's still very much a new thing. Ford was the first automaker to get official Supercharger access for its customers, followed by Rivian. And in the last month, most GM vehicles gained Supercharger access. And that's led to some altercations at Tesla Supercharger stations as Tesla owners start to express their frustration at non-Tesla owners charging. But for what it's worth, some of the frustration is valid, as some non-Tesla owners are opting not to follow official advice on how to park and charge, instead blocking as many as 4 spaces with their vehicle. At the same point, though, I've also heard tales of aggressive Tesla owners treating those who have parked according to Tesla's official instructions, acting really badly. So, just as a reminder, please be considerate, park appropriately, and share. You would have to be pretty petty to spoil someone's day over an EV charging session, regardless of the badge on your vehicle. While there is plenty right now about the UK which isn't demonstrative of a forward-thinking, progressive society, and I know friends and family there are increasingly frustrated with some of the policy decisions being made on their behalf, I do have some good news from the UK to share. This week, 142 years after the first coal-fired power station in the world opened in London, the UK officially decommissioned its very last coal-fired power station. The station in the Nottinghamshire village of Ratcliffe-on-Soar has become increasingly unnecessary in the last 5 years as the UK has relied more and more on renewable sources of electricity to provide the power needed for the national grid. Its decommissioning now means the UK national grid can look forward to its first truly coal-free winter. That is phenomenal. And finally for the segment, as we'll detail a little later in the show, thanks to more and more automakers adding some form of vehicle-to-load capability to their vehicles, we're seeing EVs pushed into service more frequently when the power grid goes down. V2L, regardless of it being a few kilowatts of backup power or the ability to back up your entire home in an emergency, not only helps ensure extra resilience for your household, but when paired with two-way charging can actually help the local grid cope with peaks in demand, which is why California Governor Gavin Newsom just signed a new law into effect this week that could eventually lead to a requirement that all EVs sold in the state have bidirectional charging. Right now, the law only calls on the state's Air Resource Board, Energy Commission and Public Utilities Commission to examine bidirectional charging, but also gives those agencies power to ultimately set requirements for bidirectional charging of EVs in the future. Our short shorts are coming in a moment, but first a quick word from long-time video sponsor EnergySage. EnergySage helps homeowners connect with local verified solar installers across the US, and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help you navigate the process of installing solar panels, help you join a community solar program, or get a heat pump installed. I used EnergySage when we were looking for installers willing to help us put solar panels on the roof of our home, and our EnergySage verified installers were professional, knowledgeable, and even put us in touch with an amazing credit union that allowed us to finance our solar panels for as low a monthly payment as possible. Follow the links below to sign up for either of EnergySage's free no-obligation services and get that ball rolling today. If you choose to use an EnergySage installer for your project, we will also get a small referral fee, so you'll be helping the channel too. Help the grid get greener, save money, and support the channel. It's a win-win-win. And now it's time for short shorts. Jeep has officially issued a recall notice for nearly 200,000 Wrangler 4xe and Grand Cherokee 4xe models in North America after 13 vehicles suffered battery fires. Jeep has identified the root cause of the battery fire and says a remedy is imminent. BYD has issued a recall of nearly 100,000 Dolphin and Yuan Plus EVs in China to address potential fire risks in both vehicles. The fault is said to be traced to a defective electronic power steering assembly, not the battery packs themselves. And finally, for recalls, multiple different BMW family EVs, including several different EVs from Mini Cooper SEs to the i7 and even the Rolls-Royce Spectre, are being recalled due to an improperly welded brake control module. Owners will be notified shortly. GM clarified this week the claim that ex-Hertz Silverado EVs can't make use of Tesla Superchargers. It reiterated that if a customer has a retail account rather than a fleet account, they can use Tesla Superchargers. Only fleet customers cannot. Sticking with Hertz, the Subaru Solterra is the latest vehicle in Hertz's rental fleet to go on sale at massive discounts. According to various price tracking sites, you can now get hold of an ex-Hertz rental Subaru Solterra for as little as $17,000. A court case brought against Tesla and Elon Musk over self-driving claims has been thrown out after Tesla's lawyers argued the comments made by Musk and Tesla were part of, quote, corporate puffery, end quote, and therefore shouldn't have been taken seriously. Meanwhile, Gogoro's founder and former CEO, Horace Luke, who resigned last week amid accusations of subsidiary fraud in Taiwan, has been cleared of all wrongdoing. A government investigation concluded that there was not enough evidence to support claims of fraud against him or his company. Folks who have been wanting to get the entry-level Chevrolet Equinox can now rejoice. The entry-level LT variant is now at dealerships, meaning that if you qualify for relative incentives in the US, you can now get one for as little as $27,000. After receiving a lot of feedback from its customers, many of whom I assume complained about the price of BlueCruise, Ford has announced it will reduce the cost of BlueCruise subscriptions to $495 per year, not the $800 it previously charged. BMW has urged Germany to vote against EU tariffs on Chinese-made EVs, worried about the impact it would have on the brand. While Germany had planned to abstain on the vote, the actual vote is happening after we film this, but before we publish, so if I find out the result, I'll put it here. Fiat has opted to extend the pause in production of the Fiat 500e at its main production facility in Torino, Italy. The company was due to start up production of the 500e next week, but has now decided to extend the hold for the remainder of October, possibly even further. Caterpillar has unveiled what it says is a unique charging system for its massive electric mining trucks. Since time is money, the system makes use of a side-mounted arm that connects with a power rail as trucks drive by, partially recharging their battery packs. A new report from the UK is implying that the UK government should avoid implementing per-mile taxation schemes for EVs. Citing similar schemes elsewhere in the world that have decimated EV sales, it tells the UK government that it should tax based on vehicle energy efficiency instead. If you're on the lookout for a Volkswagen ID buzz in the US or Canada at the model's launch in a few weeks, you should steel yourself for a wait. According to reporting from various sources, Volkswagen only plans on sending 1 or 2 examples to each dealership. That said, a Volkswagen team in Switzerland has been going the extra kilometre, literally, in a new record for the brand after a team of hypermilers drove a Volkswagen ID.7 Pro S a massive 794 kilometres on a single charge of its battery pack. Kia has officially opened its first EV-only production facility in Korea. Located at Kyo Autoland, Gwangmangyong, the facility will be home to EV3 and EV4 production with a peak capacity of more than 150,000 models per year. There are many things we know electric vehicles can improve about your world, including your wallet and your mental health. But a new study commissioned by Ford suggests that EV owners are more likely to be lucky in love than ICE drivers because of the positive impressions driving an EV can have on a first date. The UAW has told Stellantis workers that they should vote to strike at Stellantis plants in the US after Stellantis continues to make adjustments to agreements that it made with the UAW last year. Part of the beef comes from the fact that Stellantis is pushing back EV production it had promised to do with UAW. A BYD engineer has been dropping some pretty large hints that the company is going to be bringing solid-state battery packs to market sooner than expected. Talking at this year's World New Energy Congress in China, the engineer suggested solid-state batteries might be EVs within a few years' time. Kia has officially launched its 2025 Ray EV minivan in its home market of Korea. Small, compact and versatile, the Ray has been on sale for years as a gas model but was reborn for this year with an electric heart. Prices are as low as $21,000 equivalent. Daimler Trucks is celebrating Oktoberfest by helping deliver beer and pretzels to celebrations in Munich. The e-Actros 600 was used to supply 82,000 litres of beer and thousands of pretzels throughout the event, all without any emissions. And it must be catching because this week in the UK, Volvo Trucks was celebrating the fact that Ashai, owner of Fuller's Brewery, has just welcomed its first electric brewery dray truck to the fleet. Fitted with 3 battery packs, it's going to be making daily deliveries to pubs around London. Spain and Portugal became the latest nations to welcome sales of XPeng EVs this week, with the official launch of sales of the G6, G9 and P7. As part of the celebrations of the start of sales, the XPeng X2 also made an appearance, but that flying car isn't for sale just yet. Meanwhile, in its home market of China, XPeng celebrated its first installation of its brand new S5 HPC charging stations. It's a charging station that can provide up to 800 kilowatts of DC fast charging power, but no vehicle in production can yet make use of that. Sony Honda Mobility has officially announced a new partnership with Tesla that will enable it to use NACS charging hardware and Tesla Superchargers on its Alfila brand of electric vehicles. The first of those are due to go on sale sometime early next year. A court in Norway has ordered Tesla to pay compensation to owners of Model S cars who had their charging speed reduced via an over-the-air software update in 2019. The court dismissed Tesla's claim that it reduced charging speed to ensure longer life, calling it unacceptable. UK firm Anaphyte has just received additional cash injections of £1.6 million through a public-private investment. The company specialises in dry coating for lithium-ion batteries, which lowers cost, manufacturing and environmental impacts. Charging specialist Chem has announced a new agreement with Xeon, one of India's largest charging station operators, to design and install new fast charging stations across the nation, focusing on multi-headed units capable of offering flexible charging options. Mazda has officially launched its EZ6 EV in China. Offered in multiple guises, 3 EV and 4 range-extended EV options, the model is a car that Mazda hopes will go head-to-head against Chinese brands like BYD in the ever-increasingly popular new energy vehicle marketplace. Early access Tesla Cybertruck owners are starting to see Tesla push official FSD Supervised functionality to their vehicles. The Tesla Cybertruck hasn't been supported by FSD to date, and this rollout precedes a more general release to the entire Cybertruck fleet. As part of its quarterly sales report earlier this week, NIO celebrated the launch of its first Onvo branded EV, the L60, aimed at more budget-friendly buyers in the marketplace compared to some of its other models. 832 examples were delivered in the first 3 days of sales. A fire at CATL's main battery facility in China over the last weekend was brought under control in a few hours and is still under investigation. The company says the production at the facility is continuing and has been minimally affected by the fire. Tesla's entry-level Model 3 rear-wheel drive, powered by an LFP battery pack, is no longer available to order for customers in the US. While Tesla hasn't officially announced the car's discontinuation, it's likely that the impending tariffs on Chinese-made batteries is to blame. While official sales of the BMW iX3 are expected to continue into the second quarter of next year, BMW has officially ended custom orders for the vehicle, stating it will no longer accept custom orders. The replacement for the iX3 has yet to be revealed. The Department of Transportation's Federal Transit Administration has announced a new $300 million funding program to help ferry operators in the US transition from internal combustion engine ferries to electric ones. Order books have opened in Europe for Stellantis' first Leap Motor-branded budget EVs. 1 week after their official debut, the vehicles, the T03 and C10, will be sold throughout Europe at designated Stellantis-branded dealerships. Deliveries are due to begin later this year. Researchers at the University of Cordoba have announced a breakthrough in sodium-sulfur battery tech that allows the batteries to successfully operate at room temperature. Historically, sodium-sulfur packs have only worked when at temperatures in excess of 300 degrees Celsius. And finally, for the short shorts, Ford has announced a new program it's calling its Power Promise. If you buy a new Ford EV as a retail customer, you'll be given a charging station for your home with free installation for what Ford is calling standard installs. Fleet customers, meanwhile, will get commercial charging station cash incentives. And those are your short shorts. There will be more next week. Our final two stories are next, but first, a quick word from friend of the channel, Atmos Financial. Imagine a bank where your savings not only grow, but also go towards growing a greener world. That's exactly what Atmos Financial does for you. With Atmos, every dollar in your checking and savings account funds projects that light up lives with solar energy rather than fossil fuels. Atmos is banking that builds a better tomorrow with every swipe of your card today, because it's committed to investing 100% into clean, equitable and sustainable progress. With a competitive savings rate and a mobile app, your finances and the climate can go hand in hand. It charges no monthly fees and there are no minimums keeping you awake at night. It offers accessible solar loans for those who want to give the fossil fuel industry the ultimate middle finger. By joining Atmos using the link below, you're not only choosing a smarter way to bank, you're planting seeds for a healthier earth. And since every sign-up supports this channel, so we can help bringing you the content you love, there's no better reason to join. I'm a customer and I love knowing that I'm helping save money and making sure my money doesn't end up funding the fossil fuel industry. As always, thanks to Atmos for sponsoring this show. And now it's time for those last two stories. If you've been watching the news this week, you may have seen some of the absolute devastation left behind after Hurricane Helene in the US passed through. While the mainstream news might be obsessed with a video of a Tesla bursting into flames as the hurricane flooded a garage, it's worth noting that any vehicle can catch fire in salt water if the right short circuit is created, be it battery or ice. We're also hearing stories of EVs being used to keep people safe and their homes powered. And in at least one case, a Rivian R1T, which was carried a substantial distance by the ensuing floods, survived its ordeal and continued to operate. However fun it might be to turn on your EV after a flood, however, please don't. While uncontaminated water doesn't conduct electricity well, water that is chock full of salts and contaminants would quite happily conduct water, and that may spell trouble for you and your EV. And finally, we are now officially into the month of Halloween, and that means time for spooky fun. And thanks to over-the-air updates, some EVs are joining in for the season's vibes. Last year, we had a Mercedes-Benz EQE during Halloween, and it displayed pumpkins on the dash for one day only. And last year, Rivian decided to add zombies to its dashboard visualization, replacing humans with zombies on screen. This year, Rivian's got something a little different planned, with a teaser video promising Night Rider mode. Because the R1T and R1S have massive segmented LEDs across their hoods that can change colour to denote charging status, it looks like Rivian is planning a red LED sweeping effect, just like KITT had in the classic 80s TV show. Are you doing anything special for Halloween this year with your EV? Let me know below. And do tell me if you're jonesing for another appearance from Ms. Dearheart. For charity, you understand. And on that note, we are done with today's show. As always, a huge thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. They've been advocating for EVs since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you that can help you make the switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. Plus, if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. Find out more by heading to myeva.org. And thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to find out how easy it can be to get verified, trustworthy solar experts helping you make the step towards energy self-sufficiency through solar on the roof of your home, by joining a community solar project, or in fact by getting a heat pump installed. And thanks to Atmos Financial. Bank better by following the link below. And if you are someone who made your own transportation or energy greener this week, whatever it was, good job. Congratulations. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can consider supporting us from $1 a month on Patreon, which is about $10.08 a year, or by visiting our swag store. We've got some special Halloween designs in the shop now. We are viewer supported because we believe the information we provide should be free to everyone. So if you support, thank you. You make this all possible. We'll be back next week as usual, with content going out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. To finish, remember that you're valid and loved, and you've a place in this world, regardless of what idiots, religious zealots, large companies and greedy politicians might say. Know that your existence is resistance, and that, if you're able, can be bolstered by making sure that you're registered to vote this year if you are in the US and you are a US citizen. It's part of the democratic process to have your say, regardless of whom you vote for. There's still just about enough time to check you're registered in most states, so do it this week before it's too late. Until next time, stay safe regardless of your identity or who you love, be an amazing ally, be kind, and please, for the sake of everyone's future, keep evolving.